My all-time favorite singer-songwriters to ever touch a microphone, dance on stage, to record a record, Mr. Justin Timberlake, the one and only, Memphis, Tennessee's finest, has sold off his entire catalog for $100 million. 100 million big ones. And obviously, Justin joins the ranks with a bunch of other famous musicians who've sold for a lot more. I'm stumbling right now, but I think Wayne recently is one that comes to mind. Lil Wayne sold his catalog off recently for a little bit more, I think. A little bit more, and that makes sense that Wayne would get a lot more versus Justin. But this deal to me really brought out in my mind a curiosity point on how much is a classic catalog worth, and where do we rank, where do we measure, where do these companies measure in regards to how much a catalog is worth? Because in my opinion, Justin Timberlake is one of those talented musicians who has a very timeless catalog. Like, if you think about his first solo album, Justified, think about hits like Rock Your Body, think about hits like Crimea River. Those tracks, those two tracks alone are still being played today. They're still, like, you go out and you still hear them. I still hear people playing Crimea River. Crimea River is so powerful in the way the production was. Obviously, Timbaland and Scott Storch were ahead of their time with the production on that, and same with the Neptunes in Rock Your Body. Those two singles alone are being remixed, and they've got different TikTok versions of them that you can go out and look for. The catalog is speaking well over a decade's time, and in my opinion, I think that gives artists a lot of leverage in a situation like this. Now, I don't really exactly know how much leverage, but I need you guys to comment below. Is $100 million for someone like Justin Timberlake? Catalog is immaculate. Justin really, in my opinion, only has one flop of an album. Obviously, I'm referencing Man on the Woods. And even that album, Man on the Woods, even though altogether a lot of people would consider that to be, if you're a Justin Timberlake fan, you consider Man on the Woods to be you consider it to be a little bit of a different direction that Justin took, and people are debating that as a flop. But even that has some significant, powerful moments in what you're speaking to Justin's pen in regards to the way he can shapeshift into another genre and still make it work. But still is $100 million for your whole catalog. We're talking about classic hits to this day that still get played. Is that a little low, or am I tripping? I don't know. I honestly don't know how to feel about this. Justin Timberlake, like I said, one of my favorites of all time. But guys, let me know in the comments how you feel. Was this deal one for significance and what it's going to do? Obviously, this company is going to go on to flip this catalog to really make that money work for them. We all know that in the way the industry powers have over these type of deals. But is Justin going to come out in the long run and be able to flip his 100 million and make it work? I really just want to know what y'all opinions are in regards to what a classic music catalog is worth. How do we measure that? I really think we should go off of longevity, what the sound is, because a lot of Justin Timberlake's another thing about Justin Timberlake's music, a lot of it doesn't sound dated. You know what I mean? You know how you could go to certain catalogs from the 80s or whatever, and you're like, okay, I understand why that sounds the way it is. Justin Timberlake's catalog is coming up on well over 20 years plus in a lot of instances if you're talking about the Justified album. That's well over 20 something years old almost. And I feel like you would be able to spot certain blemishes in the production, but that's another thing. A lot of Justin's music, because of the talent and behind him, his vocals and just having a sincere, great voice that he's crafted over time, it doesn't sound like the music is dated with the production. I can understand if you get lowballed because your production may sound like it's dated and it's not really, we're not bumping with it like that. But a lot of Justin's music does not sound like it's still holding on to a certain time period. So that's another thing I think we need to factor into this conversation. But let me know, guys. I just wanted to get on and spit my thoughts about this because Justin is one of my favorites of all time, and it'll be that way for a long time. Just, you know, no debate. I still am inspired by a lot of the music that Justin has blessed over my childhood and going forward. Let me know how you guys feel. This has been Shuby. Justin Timberlake cashing out $100 million, entire catalog. Still slaps.
That slaps.